Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk the Ting, episode 5 of season 3. Tonight with me, I have my co-host, Mr. Rajiv Wallace. Rajiv, what's going on, man?
Good night, good night. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back for another episode.
Okay, so just a little housekeeping matters. Please don't forget to check the merch out. We still have the discounts available through to the end of October. So check it out. The link is on the Facebook page and we will pin it on the Facebook Live. But today we have a special guest with us. You have something else to say?
In the end of October is not that far away. The end of
Right.
October. So
a few more days left.
don't stick.
And also, Miss Fidel from last episode is also offering a special discount to all Talk the Ting viewers, which ends at the end of October as well. So check it out. Tonight we have special guest with us, Miss Geida Seaman, representative member of Hysteria Mass, one of our favorite costume bands back home in Dominica. So with no further ado, Miss Seaman, welcome to Talk the Ting. What's going on?
Hi, thanks for having me. Good night,
You're welcome.
everyone.
Thanks for joining.
I'm good.
Okay, so we tend to have a little drink if you want.
Yes, I brought my Hysteria mug
What are you drinking?
decked out. I'm just drinking white wine. No
red
hard liquor
wine.
tonight.
All right, Rajiv, what are you drinking?
Just tea. It's a school night.
Oh, God. All right, well, I wouldn't say what I'm drinking. All right, let's get into it. So we asked that question to all of our guests, but yours is a little bit loaded. Seeing that you are here as a representative of Hysteria Mass, so we're going to talk about you for a little bit, and then we're going to go into Hysteria Mass. And so who is Geida Seaman and what is Hysteria Mass?
Geida Seaman. I'm 33 from Dominica, obviously. From Sylvania, majority of my life, I should say. And Hysteria Mass is the premium, all-inclusive carnival band out of Dominica, founded in 2014 with our first carnival in 2015.
Okay.
So how did Hysteria come about? What was the idea for that?
It's interesting enough story. Kiana, which is also a co-founder, Kiana Edwards, she approached me with the idea in 2014. And she kind of was like, Geida, what you think, about us doing a carnival band? And I was like, sure, it sounds interesting. At the time in Dominica, it only had one contemporary costume band. Contemporary meaning bikini, feathers, and beads. That's what we like to categorize us as.
Was that Go-Girls?
No, Mercury.
Mercury.
Go-Girls had already stopped being on the road already by the time 2014 rolled around. And we both played in 2014 in Mercury band. And we were just wondering, why is it in Dominica we only have one contemporary band? And, we thought, we both experienced Carnival outside of Dominica, and we thought, well, why can't there be more, more bands on the road, more things to offer, and I thought it was a really great idea. And I just moved back to Dominica. She and I had both recently moved back to Dominica from going to school. So we were like, yeah, let's see if we can do something, At the time, we weren't thinking such a grand scale as it is now. Something really simple and small, just some cute costumes and good vibes and, on the road. But yeah, it kind of exploded after that first year.
So before going into it, I mean, you said you guys had just come back to Dominica from school. I mean, did you do like event planning at school, or was this something to take off your career? Like, what?
No, no, actually not. I studied civil engineering at school. I did participate in a lot of school activities. It could have been from that. I joined my campus sorority, that's University of West Indies. I joined that, and we used to hold a lot of concerts and pageants and different events, and I was pretty involved in that. So I think it could have been, well, I mean, I enjoyed it, that part of it, especially the production side of holding a concert and holding a pageant. I was never too much in the forefront. I never really liked being on stage or being, or even being a contestant in a show. That didn't really appeal to me, but I liked the idea of behind the scene production. And yeah, and I love Carnival. So, I mean, the two of them kind of, I think it's more, for both of us specifically, it was more love of Carnival and love of Dominica culture. And I think Dominica Carnival is unique. It's not the same anywhere else. And us alone don't have buoy really. I mean, St. Lucian's try a thing, but it's not, we know it's not real buoy. That's not buoy. That is a soca buoy kind of a thing. But it's good, but with Denry soca,
it's not great.
It's not, I'm not gonna say it's not great, but because we have Lucian masqueraders who I love.
Exactly.
But
to come through.
But yeah, our Dominican buoy is a special. Like our buoy is the original. Nobody can really touch the original in that sense. So it is a love of both Carnival and just wanting to see our same experiences, for Dominicans to have the same experience. If you kind of travel, you're not going to end up having some experiences, and you just want people to have the same kind of vibes. We can have the vibes. Dominica have vibes. Why we can't? Carnival can have the vibes.
So basically, so it was you and Kiana come up with this idea. None of you, no event planning really experience or professionally. How difficult was that though? Because I could imagine just coming on the scene, on the Carnival scene, saying, "Okay, we're gonna start a band." It's easy words, but how was that? How was the process that first year?
Actually, it was jarring, like when we started really getting into the nitty-gritty. I tried to get some information from, local DFC, some people who had experience in costume stuff in Dominica. And a lot of it was just us doing hella research on the internet, trying to find how we do it. I mean, you have the basic idea of, okay, we're going to get costumes and a performer, a band, a DJ. We have to get a truck. Oh, but we have to get drinks. And then you kind of put all that together, all the little logistics, and then afterwards you kind of realize, okay, we need to put this and that together. It ended up being pretty simple at first, but as things progress, you kind of realize, oh, we're missing something. It was definitely a major learning process. Every year we learn something else, and every year we try to improve on the product that we give out. We kind of think of what I would want when I go somewhere to play mass. I'm going to want this, I'm going to want that. I want to make sure everything is up to a certain standard. So we try to make sure what I would want somebody to give myself, that's what we try to make sure we give to Hysterics. That's what we call our masqueraders, Hysterics.
All right. So for somebody like you just mentioned that you studied civil engineering, and there are other Caribbean islands that I know people that all they do is costume. That's their job, 24/7, 365. But I'm gonna guess that we maybe don't have the economy or the like to be able to leave off of that, just that. So how do you, because I still know that doing the costume thing is a year-round thing. You have to plan from Ash Wednesday to the next carnival. So how do you juggle your career and also your leadership position in such entity as Hysteria Mass?
How do I juggle that? I push through. There are times when I end up taking an extra long lunch hour because some meeting ran over, or we have to deal with talking to hysterics. We always try to make time to talk to people, especially during registration process. There are days where I have to take time off, but I it's a lot of late nights and weekends when it's carnival, especially coming down from registration. My weekends are not my own. It's kind of like till probably a week after carnival, I'm kind of on a break. We usually try to take 6 weeks off between each season. So like from Ash Wednesday, probably a week after, we doing some post-mortem kind of vibes, and from then on, we do 6 weeks. We say, okay, everybody on the team, the whole team, we have a team over 20 people. We take a break from each other because we've seen each other practically every day, every weekend, and we take a break from, just the workload. But I think I'm managing enough so far. It does get a little overwhelming sometimes, but the end product, the end result is kind of, Carnival Tuesday, when hysterics come up to me and say this is the best day they've ever had. It makes the 10, 11 months of hard work worth it. So, we enjoy it. All of us on the team enjoy that last day, that last couple hours. I mean, if they're not too intoxicated, we take it as that's, yes, they really mean it. Oh, if they're way intoxicated, that means they even mean it more. So it's like it's a lot, but it's worth it, man.
So so you mentioned having sometimes extended lunch breaks because you working year round. What's the process like? Because I'm pretty sure when your friend came to you, hey, let's start a costume band, you all didn't have all the money sitting down in a bank account that you could just put up the investment. So what was it like, and what was the process like being able to like get sponsors and negotiate with drink sponsors and gathering all the materials and people to build the costumes and a place to build them? What is that like?
Okay, so the first few.
How soon?
Yeah, go ahead.
I said, and also you can speak on like the timeline, like how soon does all of this start get going?
Okay.
Right.
All right. So as you mentioned, at least it is an all year round process. So let's say we typically start. Let's say we're coming off of our first year, or maybe our second year, whichever year it is you're coming off of. As I mentioned, we take about a 6 weeks break, just to recoup, give yourself some personal time, free up your mental, get yourself together, and then we come back.
Enjoy the Lent.
My Lenten season has changed from pre-hysteria to post-hysteria. But so we typically go from finding out, okay, sit down, gather around, we get the theme going, and then we get to the creative process of getting designs together. We use majority of our designers are local. It's only in the last 2 carnival seasons that we've used foreign designers from the beginning. From inception of Hysteria, we've used local designers. We always want to keep the part of Dominica culture invested throughout Hysteria. We go through what we want the visuals to look like for that year, what you want the IT, the IT department. I say department like we're a big running company. Maybe we're a company, but the IT department is Patria, Seaman, and Malik Stewart. That's who the IT department is. So we go through what we want visuals to look like for the year, and then we end up doing through prototypes. So previously, we built majority of the costumes in Dominica, even our prototypes. In our first couple of years, we did them ourselves.
When you say the team?
Yeah, the team, as in we, I mean, as when I mean with a learning process, we literally learned to do everything. There are a few people who already knew how to build costumes because some people worked, like Akeem Ismail, he worked with Queen costumes already. And Siobhan Johnson, Siobhan is top model, so Siobhan know how to put those things together. So we already had people with experience in these kind of fields, but for the rest of us, it was learning, and then we had to be able to punch it out. So the first couple of years we did the production, but as the band grew, the numbers, we definitely couldn't handle it. Because Hysteria in itself, we consider ourselves a family. So a lot of the people that would help build costumes and help put stuff together, even launching and registration, is like family and friends. Like the directors, let me just tell you who the directors are. It's myself, Kiana Edwards, Danica Shillingford, and Patricia Seaman. Patricia is my sister-in-law, and Kiana and Danica, we went to school from grade K, from all the way grade K to college. So we've known each other our whole lives, basically, and Patricia is my sister, it's my sister-in-law. And everybody else on the team, we kind of knew as friends. My sister Genevieve and my brother Gavin helps out. Everett is Kiana's fiance. Yeah, Gavin, Dr. Gavin Seaman.
That's my chemistry teacher. Why?
That's way back.
Yeah, high school.
So we always, it's cousins. My cousins Chelsea and Maliva are always there. My cousins Kalista, my cousin Saeed, my cousin Reggie. Like, it is really a big family thing. Kiana's aunt does help out sometimes. Like, it is more or less a family endeavor, a family and close friends. So in the early years, it was, us building, but as the band grew, the numbers just was too excessive for us to be able to handle. And that's when we started outsourcing. So in terms of you saying getting sponsors now, that is late, and we tend to start looking at sponsors maybe after we've come up with our whole theme and designs and prototypes, because we want to present to them what our idea is for the next coming carnival. So we want to make sure we have that all together and we bring it to them. And it is several meetings back to back. You have to meet with them, tell them, show them your masquerader numbers from previous years, your social media stats and all that. And you talk to them and tell them what you feel like you can offer for their promotional markets. I mean, in terms of Carnival, is people like to drink during Carnival. So we obviously target, the alcohol companies,
right,
and, beers and stuff like that. In terms of telecommunications, we are tied to Digicel right now. So, we will continue to work with them in the future for anything that we do. So it's sitting down and discussing it's a discussion. It's kind of like, honestly, it's kind of like an interview like this. You kind of sit down, you spend an hour talking about what ideas that you have for the company and what the company wants to incorporate you in. It really works both ways for everybody, because you have them wanting to do Carnival promotions and you being a Carnival band. It works hand in hand. You can be at their events and they can, sponsor you drinks, or if it's cash or anything like that.
Okay. It's a lot of work, man, but
yeah, there's a lot more. Honestly, I haven't touched on shipping, logistics, and mass production and registration and pre-registration. And
would you say it has gotten easier over the years? Like,
certain things for sure. We've gotten into a system where it's kind of like, okay, this is what's supposed to happen. This is when we want to happen it by. And, but you can't You can't control everything around you. Our biggest challenge is shipping, because Dominica doesn't produce any of our materials, especially raw materials. So everything has to be shipped in. Everything for the costumes, down to even like mugs and stuff like that, we have to get that shipped into Dominica. So shipping logistics is our biggest challenge. And every year we try to make sure to be on top of our game. But there are some things that we just cannot possibly control. Last Carnival we did have a major setback, and we make sure we try to recover from that, make sure Hysterics understand that, we promise you something at a certain date, we can't deliver because of shipping problems and things being held back. Customs is a tie, honestly. Customs is a tie.
With all of that in mind, if Mass Dominic 2022 were to be confirmed today, it wouldn't be possible. Is it safe to say that Hysterics on the road next year would be
once the powers that be, give a go ahead and give a proper idea of what the protocol is supposed to be. Let's say we can only have 50 people on the road. We will try to make sure the 50 people get their thing. It's just who gets first. Does everybody have to put themselves first? I don't know how they will do it. if they decide to have Carnival next year, I mean, we will try to make something work, but it's all down to the type of protocols that they decide to put in place. It's all about, I mean, we all live in a global pandemic right now, so you kind of have to bear that in mind when you're thinking, okay, Carnival is happening, but I may not get to play because they only say 10, 15 people can be in a band, but that kind of thing.
Right. So more and more, I think there's a lot of people in the diaspora who wants to come home to play mass, and obviously more people back home who are able to afford to play mass. And it's an issue that we've had up here, those of us up here, being able to register for a band in a legit, secure way instead of having to send money for somebody and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you guys have websites and whatnot. So how do you guys deal with how do you guys balance having to cater to the people back home, especially people who want to register, and those of us up here who are trying to become a part and we want to just basically pay our money and just come and pick up our costumes and not have anything to worry about? How do you all balance that?
Well, we've moved from paper to electronic from our post Maria. So from our 5th year, we've moved from that. So everything is pretty seamless. Actually, you can pay with your credit card online. There's no real hassle. It's the same. We use the same system for in-person registration and for online registration. So everything goes in the same place. So it's pretty seamless. There are Carnival dedicated, like quote unquote Shopify kind of websites where it's specifically for Carnival. It's not a different kind of thing, and they're extremely secure. They use the same type of security as Amazon and all these and Google Pay and those kind of things. So it's not something people have to worry about their information getting out there. So we moved for the last 2 seasons we've been working with that. So it's not an issue. Last Carnival we had people from everywhere, from France to the UK. I think there was a Swedish couple, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it's not there's no hassle. You go on the website, you click the link, you fill out your information, and then you go, that's it. No registration.
All right. So if you have Carnival next year, we have no excuse.
No, we don't. You don't have no excuse. You
jump on the website, pay.
What about in terms of balancing like the demands of the different crowds? Because sometimes us in the diaspora, we're very opinionated about certain things. So we expect, okay, when we come down, we want Bix, we want certain foods that we haven't seen before, but then you might have the tug of war with the local Hysterics who might say, well, we're eating Bix all year, we join a Carnival band, we want something different. How do you strike that balance between the two?
No, you'd be surprised. Everybody want the same kind of food. They want Dominican. What is to soak up the rum? That is what they want. Dominican food. Things that can soak up rum, things that can make them feel good on the road, and that's it. It's not really, it's not as at that time, like especially Carnival Tuesday, the last day of Carnival, you want to take your food. Everybody wants the same on, especially food types. We make sure to have options for vegan and meat eaters. We just make sure to have that option because we have a couple of people we know that are going to want a vegan option. So we do offer like tofu and stuff like that. But that's for
Rajiv. That's for Rajiv then.
I'm sure Rajiv took the vegan option last time.
Yeah, Mr. have a problem with meat.
So that is in terms of catering, that was we make sure we have a fish, vegan, and a meat option. But no, Dominicans, I think Dominicans for Carnival is across the board the same. I mean, it would be nice to have something fancy. I guess, like, you eating lasagna or something on the road, but is that
lasagna on the road?
Yeah, I've had lasagna in other countries on the road, to be honest.
Yeah, man, you want something you can just hold and in a paper bag, and I mean, if it's lunchtime, you're sitting, but can't this costume man have lunchtime now?
Yeah, we go to the cool down zone. We call it the cool down zone, and we take a lunch break. Everybody gets a chance to rejuvenate, drink some water. We have a little station. Women can reapply their makeup. You can sit down, take a little breeze. Sanitize your hands. Even pre-COVID, we had sanitizing stations. That kind of thing. You mirrors, you make sure your costume looking all right. You take a rest, you eat your food, and you go back. We take a lunch hour, and it's from then you head the triple K. That is after lunch hour.
So I'm not sure which costume band had it when I was there. I'm pretty sure all of y'all had it. All the bands had it. But the one thing I would like to, I think that was very good, a very good idea was I saw a fully air-conditioned bus along the route where instead of a masquerader having to go sit down and then they have to catch up with the band, they could just go sit on that bus, and they're still in the parade, and whenever they feel they cool down,
you're still hearing the music, yeah.
Right. I think that was a very, very, very good initiative where you keep your people with you, because so many times you see somebody say, boy, let me walk, I take a little break and walk to go meet my band, them, and right by the corner by Lotto there, and all the way down by Subway. So I think, I think that was a good idea.
No, we wanted to keep people with, as you mentioned, in the band. So you want to feel like you're still on the road, but you need a break. And it's hot.
Right.
For Carnival Tuesday is you sweating, you drinking rum, or even if you're not drinking rum, it's still hot. Even if you're not drinking, it's just hot. And you're in a costume. I mean, yeah, it's not something you're in every day. So it's starting to itch you, something pricking you, maybe where you thought it would be nice. You're looking pretty and you feel good because you're on the road. But, a gem, you're not accustomed to gemming and stuff on your body all day. So you want to take a break. So you kind of think, okay, I want to sit down somewhere. We make sure to mention that in our road guide, but some people still kind of miss it. So some people still stray away, but we make sure to have it. We started, that was post Maria. So our 5th year, we started doing the bus, and we will continue it. We might get a bigger bus next season or something even bigger than that. I mean, I don't know how much space we allotted on the routes because it have other bands. I don't know how much space each band is allowed. Rosso is a small circle. It's not as big as we like.
I think the size of bus was adequate though, because you wouldn't get maybe more than 5 or 6 people trying to cool down at any point in time.
Yeah, that's true. But so people the people who did use it, appreciate it for sure. Like you take a 10 inside an air conditioned bus, and then you come out and back
ready to fire again.
Right in front of you is the ropes. You just go under the ropes and you're in the van. So yeah.
So Geida, there's a hot tick. So amongst the older, the I would say the cultural elders or the in Dominica, there's a notion that with the rising popularity of things like costume bands, because now I think we have 3 costume bands now in Dominica, just about. With the rising costume bands in Dominica, we've started seeing, or maybe even before the rising costume bands, we started seeing a decline in the old mass, in the, what would happen on the first, what now happens on the morning portion of Carnival Monday. And some might argue that, it is the increasing popularity of the other parts of Carnival that caused those parts of Carnival
of the contemporary.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you feel offended by that?
I've heard that multiple times throughout the years. I've heard it, especially during the official Carnival meetings. They like to bring it up. They like to bring up the soca aspect. They like to bring up. I understand, older generations, that's just natural that you feel like you're becoming obsolete, or you feel like whatever that's tradition is being lost. And I personally don't think that tradition is being lost anywhere, because everybody loves Lapo Cabbage. I think like the only thing that they need to do is to train more young people. I think that is what, you can't blame somebody else for you not pushing more. You have to push. You have to decide, okay, we're going to start a training program in grade 7 or second form or third form to teach people how to play Lapo Cabbage, to teach people how to make sense, to teach people how to walk. All the Boaba costumes tend to be very beautiful on the road. They, although people still think they're in the middle between old mass and contemporary mass for whatever reason. But you have to kind of push for young people to be interested in something. But I don't think, they were saying that when t-shirt bands came, when we were in high school, t-shirt band, that was it, costume band wasn't a thing, I didn't play costume, especially beads and bikini in high school or even in college. I was in t-shirts. I was in front of CK when, Ron them and Clinton them were in front of CK. That's where I was in high school. So you can't really, at the time they were saying young people wasn't coming out, and that's 15, 16 years ago. You can't still be saying the same thing. Like, to me, you can't still be saying it's other people's fault that old mass dying. Okay. You can't say that it's because t-shirt ban. You can't say it's because contemporary costume ban is coming in. That's poor excuse. If every time it's somebody else's fault that you feel old mass is dying, then you're not taking responsibility. So it's them, and even us too, we would love to include in any sort of aspect. One of the other costume bands does, I think they do Lapo Cabbage. I don't see bands on the road, but I hear what other people say. They do Lapo Cabbage, a segment or something like that. So it's not something where I think it should be controversial or anything like that. I think it's just pushing for it. You cannot expect people to just sit down and know where to have Lapo Cabbage to go and learn how to do Lapo Cabbage. That's not. And you have to look for it. You have to.
Well, honestly, I think the word we should use is evolution. Things have to evolve. It doesn't mean that we have to forget it, but I think a lot of our older people, they think like that. You come in and make us obsolete instead of evolving the old mass. It could still be old mass, but what can we do with the old mass to make it more appealing to the younger people? And I don't think that some of the major stakeholders in our carnival realize that carnival right now is a tourism product, and
there is a fight with that.
It's a tourism product. It's a competition. You want people to come to Dominica. You don't just want me and Rajiv to come down every year. You want me and Rajiv to bring a friend.
But on that topic,
you understand
your thoughts on the date of Carnival. Do you think that it should change as a as a player in this space? What do you think about the date of Carnival?
Well, okay, for that question, it depends on what Hadi said. You want Carnival to be a tourism thing. It's not only just changing the dates. We changed it, sure, but if we don't improve or widen our product, it's not going to make a difference. No one's going to care that we change the dates. If you're trying to attract diaspora like y'all, then changing the date not going to make a difference. People going to come, you're going to want to come back home for Carnival because it's your home. Are we changing the dates because we want to make it a tourist attraction where we say, okay, we're going to get all the Caribbean people who go to Trinidad for Carnival. So we want all these people who regularly go to Trinidad for Carnival, and we want to put it in a date where there's no other Carnival, because don't forget, Carnival in other countries happen from April, May, all the way down, go down Miami to October, and then send kids in December, and you come back again, St. Martin in March, February, March.
But who was Carnival in June though?
June is St. Vincent. St. Vincent is the first in the other islands. They're in the end of June, and then you have St. Lucia, and then Barbados, Antigua, Caribbean on the same day, and then it's Grenada, and then you go October is Miami, and then Jamaica is the end of April. So
because I think our issue is really the fact that we having Carnival together with Trinidad, which is the Mecca of Caribbean Carnival.
I don't think that. I don't think that's the issue.
No. Let me explain. It have a lot more to do that is because it's Trinidad. I think Trinidad have a lot more fets and what. There's a lot we have to do. But for me, I also believe that if we put on more, we do more, I still think we're going to still get a little nick from the fact that Trinidad is having Carnival. You have direct flights from Miami to Trinidad. You have direct flights from New York
and they're cheaper too.
To Trinidad. And they are cheaper, and then no hassle. You see these people fetting from JFK on the plane to Trinidad. So I think that plays something. I mean, a lot of it have to do with the musical aspect, but I will not get into that. I think our musical aspect kind of stifling us a little bit.
You think so? I don't know.
I honestly think so. But that's the musician part of me speaking right now.
I think I agree more with you, Geida, that it's the date is the last thing that we need to be thinking of. The first thing will be the product. If the product is undisputable, then people will decide where they want to go, what kind of carnival they want to go to. Because I think that we offer a different kind of carnival, and if we're competing, we're competing. But if you don't,
Rajiv, what is our kind of carnival though? What is our carnival?
That is, you see, okay, so I will say our carnival is different. It is, personally, it is hard for me to put into words. I've experienced carnival in Trinidad, and I am Dominican. So I already have a bias because I born and raised in Dominica, right? So I already have a bias. Dominica is home. Booyah was one of the first musics I really attached to, even from young. I played Carnival, Kiddies Carnival, every come as you like. I was dressed up for sure to whatever I wanted to be at the time. Not no American thing. Are you talking about I don't remember the name of it, the lady with the big bottom thing, and like I was dressed up like Dominica folklore, like, so I always will have Dominica first in my heart for Carnival. So, but our product is different. In terms, people like to say it's the freedom, to be quite honest, the freedom to move, because everywhere else,
yes,
if you're not in a band, you cannot do nothing. St. Lucia, if you can't, they're finding you. Other countries, they barriers. You just stand up on the side of the road watching people dance. And in Dominica, you can't.
We need to have that too. We need to do that too.
I don't think so. I think that's what makes it. I mean, for somebody with a band, I should agree with you because we've had our ropes cut more than once. People thought we were taking too long for Triple K to give them their freeness, so they cut the ropes. You know, I mean, we had our time. They're ready to play. They're ready. Come out in their new costume. They're ready to hit Triple K. So it's like,
yeah, I don't support that. You want to fight, you want to play mass, pay to play mass. That's what it is.
You can play, but I think our Dominican, is our Dominicanness.
No, I honestly believe that is an aspect of our carnival that we need to work on, and we need to change. We need to change it. The whole idea of
be a major cultural shift,
right? And
that is a major cultural shift.
I mean, for you to put a ban on the road, 12,000. I have an idea. $12,000 to put a truck on the road. $12,000 to $15,000. That is just the ban part of it. That's just the truck. And then you have to pay the ban. So you have to pay the ban another $10K, $15K. So that's $30K for the truck alone. And then for somebody to just cut my rope and to just come and jump behind a truck that I pay for, like you're not even paying a reduced fee to jump behind my ban. I honestly believe that is total madness. And for me, it's something that I never liked. I know it's cultural, but again, not because something culturally good.
That's true.
You go to every carnival and you pay to play. That's what it is. You pay to play mass. Yeah. If you want to be a spectator, you stand up, you watch, and you say, "Boy, I want to join that band next year." That's what it was. That's what it's supposed to be.
I mean, people are like that. We've gained numbers every year because people are like, "Boy, I should be inside," because we make sure our security and our ropes that even if they cut the ropes, security usually they cut the ropes till like that was maybe 2 years that happened, to be honest.
No, you cut the rope and I find you. You getting fined.
Find you? Yeah, we haven't been Roseau at 6:20 on Carnival Tuesday.
I know, right?
Fine, you can't find nobody.
So how they finding them? How they finding them in the other countries?
Well, because it doesn't. One, you have to think the space is bigger. All the roads are bigger everywhere else. In St. Lucia, they do it on the highway. In Trinidad, well, the roads is bigger. Barbados roads not so much bigger, but it's again because the laws are there, so people are not going to do that. I personally don't like when it's so much space. I like it's just you have so much people. I mean, you don't have people on you.
I know why you're saying that.
You don't have people on you, but then you don't want to.
When you have too much,
I can move.
When you have too much space, the band does look small. So that is
maybe.
so long term for you guys. You know, sometimes we have people who start one place and they reinvest that money into something else and whatnot. Is there a long-term thing where you could find Hysteria Mass also being able to put on, or is it already happening where Hysteria Mass also has another event, whether it's during Carnival or outside of Carnival? Is that something that you guys do?
Yeah, we've had events in the past. Kiss the Sky, we did it for 2 years in a row. I mean, we have been meaning to bring it back. Hysterics do ask about it still. And we've had the plans to bring events for sure, and even other aspects to push that through. You know, sometimes timing is kind of what that put us, especially for Kiss the Sky event, the timing kind of threw us off because we're like deep in costume and prototype construction when we trying to do Kiss the Sky. And you know, we want to give people events, and we were planning for some stuff, and then the pandemic kind of put us off. But yeah, people will look out for more from us. It's not just costume carnival. There'll be more. There'll be more.
Okay. So as it relates to improvements,
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that you're never satisfied with the product that you give, no matter how much your guests, oh, this year was great. You're like, well, yeah, but so what are some of the improvements? Like, let's just say as of the last carnival that we had, which was 2020. What are some of the things that you guys are working on to basically improve the experience for your patrons?
Masqueraders. Well, I'm not gonna sell out everything. For sure, it's the main thing for us, as I mentioned before, it's our shipping logistics. We're trying to get that down to, everything being as close to perfection as you possibly can. Because that has been the major setback. We've had that experience in other years. But we try to, get to work with the companies to try and get that through. One way Hysteria can help us is by registering as soon as possible and, making sure they know their sizes, if they want to, even beforehand. I mean, it helps on general basis to know your full body size and, to feel comfortable. You know what you want in a costume. If you've played already, you kind of aware of what you like and, what type of, you like a high waist panty. For the women, you like a high waist panty, or you like a bikini, or you want to explore the idea of using a thong, then, make sure you feel comfortable in what you're choosing so you don't take too long choosing a costume. For the guys, if you want to get a t-shirt, or if color scheme is what your thing, you kind of have to make sure, okay, I prefer my color is blue, my color is red, I'm going to take the closest to whatever that is in the year. So, and don't give in too much into peer pressure, okay? I know when you with a group, you with your girlfriends, or if you with your spouse or your partner, and you're like, they want to be in that costume and they want you to be in that costume with you. One, you don't like the costume. Two, it's too expensive for your pockets. You like that you can, but the person or your group is like, I need to, that is the group, that is where we play in. You don't need to, that is a struggle you're giving yourself in terms of choosing a costume. So taking your time too long to choose a costume, that pushes us back to even changing your mind about something. That's why we have a 24-hour window for people to, whether or not they think they get a size wrong, or maybe they don't want that costume, they wanted the other section, the other option. Instead, we give people a 24-hour window, and it being so short is because of production. So we want to get your sizes out to the production company as soon as possible, so that the costume is made as soon as possible. So shipping is even earlier than what we want it to be. We have a set date, and if for whatever reason, you take your time or you want to change, and then people feel like, okay, well, I don't like that anymore, or can I change, or can I add something? That is going to push back production. If you come a week later wanting to change something, it's going to push back. You may think it's not that of a big deal, but it's the same thing like if you buy something on Amazon, it's shipped in like in 2 days, it's gone. Like you kind of really have to, we try and make sure production is as quick as possible. So we try to, I want to encourage you to kind of just have that in the back of the head. Budgeting, Carnival coming, I know I want to play frontline. I want the biggest wings, with the biggest headpiece, with the beautiful wire bra. I'm going to make sure I save up my money, because to be honest, the most expensive part of a costume is the feathers. The feathering tends to be really expensive. So you kind of want people to, that is the part that's what you're paying for. You're paying for those they're real feathers. They're from real animals.
Speaking of expense though,
yes.
Some people might argue, well, these costume brands, like, they're expensive or whatnot. Like, you feel like, that, how challenging is it to competitively price, the band? Because people will always be a comment too expensive.
No, I understand for sure that for some people, especially because for so many years, costume bands in Dominica was under $500, under $600. And realistically, if you're looking for quality make and quality materials, that is just not realistic. The standard prices for your food and your drinks, you know, again, if you want premium, we want to give you Johnny Walker Black. We even want to go higher, you know, than that. Like,
yeah, I go the red cap way.
If you want premium alcohol and you want quality, I mean, you have to pay for it. That's just life, you know, on a whole. You have to, if you pay more for quality. I don't want to personally give people plastic feathers. I don't want to give you a $10 gem you can, you know, get by a Chinese in Roseau. Like, I personally don't want to do that. I want you to have a quality experience. I want you to feel good in your costume. I want you to feel expensive. I want you to feel as expensive, close to as expensive as if, you know, you're paying $10,000 for it, or you're paying $5,000 for it. I want you to feel that way. So we will try to get quality for you as little as we try and budget down as little as possible, you know, to make sure. And then, yeah, so it's a maneuvering kind of vibes. We have to keep things within budget. We want to give a quality standard, and, you know, but again, the reality of getting things to Dominica always hits hard. It comes down, everything comes down to the shipping, man. Everything comes down back to the shipping.
Yep. So I always wanted to find that out. So I guess I'm gonna get the opportunity to. How is the king and the queen of the band selected?
Oh. Well,
I always wondered.
On our first 2 years, we decided to gift the winner of the Dominica State College Jamboree Mass the queen costume. But that proved kind of difficult because you only find out who the winner is Carnival Thursday. So that gives a very small window to do a body wear for her. And we usually have the king in the past was, we had Zwadi. Zwadi was part of the team before. And well, now we have Malik and Siobhan, who are members of Hysteria team. So, you know, it was just automatic. It wasn't a thing where we look for people. We have team members who can carry the costume and carry them well, and I think it looks fine. Yeah, I mean, we're not giving out prizes or stuff like that for king and queen, you know, unless they decide to step down from their role. I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's not really a thing. We still gift to we still sponsor Match Jamboree once they request it. We still sponsor them. We give a costume to the winner for free. So that is we still do that sponsorship, but we just don't do the queen anymore because it was really difficult to size them in the last 2 days of the weekend. That ended up being a hella stress. Everything else would have to be done, but the body wear had to fit the woman. It was a stress.
So speaking of prizes, has Hysteria copped any of the coveted Carnival Road prizes?
Yes, we have. We have since our first year. The names have changed throughout the years. The festival committee has changed the type of the names. We've gotten the largest bands. We had largest band. We've had band of the year, but contemporary band of the year. We've had there was a special prize a year. I'm trying to remember what it was called, but they changed the names. So I can't tell you, it's not the same prize every year. We've won King and Queen already. We won King last season too, adult, but it's contemporary. You have to be contemporary part, adult, contemporary. So, you know, it's, yeah, every year actually, except the post-Maria year, Phoenix Rise, that was that year. There were no prizes given that year.
Okay. So, I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. We actually don't have them down. So, Rajiv, I guess we're just going to have to wing it. Anything that comes to mind. It's gonna be Dominica based, but we're just gonna ask you a random thing and you just answer.
Okay. Sorry.
Rajiv, go first.
Say that again, Rajiv. I don't know why you're not doing it.
Codfish or smoked herring?
Codfish.
Beach or river?
Beach.
Carnival or Independence?
Carnival.
Pilau or broth?
What's the first one you said?
Pilau or broth?
Broth.
I gotta ask you about someone because you mentioned both of them here. Triple K or WCK?
Triple K. Triple K band is big as Booyah band. That's my band.
I'm not going to ask you costume band, but Juve band or t-shirt band?
Oh. T-shirt band.
Okay.
Juve? Too early for you?
No, I like Juve, but okay, so for the past 7 years, I don't really play anymore like that. I'm thinking of pre-Hysteria, so it would be a t-shirt band, Juve. I want like my one-man band for Juve. I like to dress up in my own makeshift costume.
Oh, so that's the old master right there. That is you keeping up.
Yeah, I like
exactly. So you playing your part. You playing your part in the old mass.
Yeah, I like dressing like Papi Show wedding. There's a year I did a bow tie and a top hat like I'm a groom. I was Papi Show wedding it. Like I like the Papi Show wedding dress up of Juve, that old school.
So we have like 5 minutes left, and we're going to go into. You're gonna spend the last 5 minutes talking about you. You are. You studied civil engineering, so you are a civil engineer.
I work with my dad's company. He has a land surveying company. He's a land surveyor. So I do a lot of the draftsman work and I do a lot of quantity surveying work. So that's what I didn't steer too much into the engineering, especially building a thing. I studied it, but I went still same field. People tend to think it's the same field, but I went in a little different direction. So quantity surveying, more or less, I do.
Okay, kind of impressive to me because I'm into that field. So when you brought it up, I was like,
okay,
yeah. And it's always good to see women in those fields because dominated by men.
Yeah,
and
yeah. When I studied, there weren't that. Well, I wouldn't say that one. That's not true. It's still less than half. I'm not sure if it's like that anymore. It's still less than half. Maybe a quarter of a class is women. But I'm not sure if now it might be half the class that are women at UE but in terms of small islands, my year I was the only Dominican. Jody Dangoben, she's an engineer and she went to UE too, and she was a year ahead of me. But there tends to be one Dominican in the engineering field, maybe one every other year or every year, like that. So
that's good. I always like to see women in field of engineering and design and stuff.
Yeah,
like
they should have. I would hope more women are into it than before. It is male dominated. The older generation, you hardly find women in their 60s who are engineers, for sure.
You're a trailblazer.
Yep.
No, I'm too young to be a trailblazer engineer.
But that's when you start though. You don't start being a trailblazer when you're in your 40s and 50s.
My generation is too young.
You're building the foundation to becoming a trailblazer.
Well, I feel like I hope there's at least half a class. No, at school, most schools, any engineering school in the world, I hope at least half the class are women. I don't know. I haven't kept up. Yes.
To the end of our time. What are your parting words for us hysterics? I'll say us because
because you're hysteric. You are hysterics. Just look out for us. We're not going anywhere anytime soon.
So if
we're here.
Where can we find you? So on all social media handles?
On all, you can find Hysteria Mass on every social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have our website. Yeah.
TikTok.
So oh no, we're not on TikTok. I guess we're not on also TikTok. TikTok. No.
TikTok is
So
working.
what am I gonna do? We're gonna dance. I don't know what I'll do on TikTok.
It's a lot of work. You can just post the same videos on TikTok, man.
You can post the same. Okay, good. Because then it would be like a whole new aspect. But yeah, you can find us. You can find us on all social medias. Once you keep up on Hysterics, we email Hysterics any updates that we have, anything coming out, we email Hysterics. So once your email address still works and your inbox is not full, then you should get anything from us, any updates and anything like that. But we're here, and I mean, we miss, even if it's stress and a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie, we miss having to get stuff ready for everybody for Carnival and hearing best day ever.
Well, we miss Carnival.
Yeah, we miss Carnival. I think I'll be joining a band next year. I think I want to do costume band. I have to get my my Carnival body on though.
No, there's no such thing as Carnival bodies. All bodies are Carnival bodies. We cater for all sizes.
Well,
for all sizes.
I know, but
you have to if you want to look aesthetically pleasing in the eyes of society, then yes, you.
Well, fine. Well, that's me. Well, guys, we have come to the end of another wonderful episode of Talk with TIng with our guest, Miss Geida Seaman, civil engineer, quantity surveyor, and boss, one of the leaders of the great Hysteria Mass. And we would like to thank you guys. Thank you, Geida, for coming on. You guys heard it here first. If the authorities says that there will be Carnival at the smallest or at the largest level, Hysteria Mass will have something for you. The, how do we call them? Hysterics?
Yes.
Hysterics. So just keep close to the social media and website, and you will get an email. And thanks for viewing. We will be back in the next 2 weeks with a brand new guest. And take care. Geida, stay on. Don't leave the call. But for everybody else in the land of Facebook and YouTube Live, good night, 767. See you guys next time.